Hello, brothers and sisters. Hello, brothers and sisters. Hello, brothers and sisters of light and dark. Welcome to my Eccentric page. I want you to talk about common sense, but I try to keep it down and nitty-gritty under 10 minutes. If it goes over 10 minutes, that means something very important. And not important to liberals, libertards, people who believe in God, people like to smoke, people like to drink, people like ayahuasca, people like DMT, people who just fit in with everybody else. Think outside the box, not inside the box. I'm on cloud 9, baby. I'm gonna take my ass to work. And I'm gonna play basketball after work. But of course, I'm not your average man. I'm not your Peter Pan. This video is going to be about how to properly raise your daughters and your sons. Okay? And what I've come to learn in my 52 years of being around a lot of children and a lot of knuckleheaded parents, beta male parents, beta women parents, I've learned one thing: that discipline is missing from the whole entire nuclear family. There is no structure, there is no discipline. And how I learned to come about this discipline and structure is through trial and error, through the experiences of others. Trial and error teaches you a lot. You become like a Machiavellian when you have enough trial and error to basically understand what common sense is. But sadly, most people don't have common sense. And I've learned this at a very young age. I remember back in the 80s when I was in Brooklyn, New York, the Bed-Stuy area, and it used to be symbols saying don't do drugs. And I remember on TV, it would say, it's 8 p.m. Do you know where your children are? Then it moved to 10 p.m., okay? And I remember He-Man and the Masters of the Universe and Silverhawks and Transformers and G.I. Joe. I remember those cartoons, which basically had a message at the end to teach children about what is good and what is bad through common sense and proper morals. But now, these days, we don't have none of that shit now. Because I truly believe that the single mothers have been too corrupted by their own single mothers. It's a disease. It's a contagious disease. And then you have feminists trying to blame the patriarch, when they don't understand that they're breeding the patriarch. They're breeding the patriarch. The feminists don't understand that they are the breeders. They're the ones who's choosing the men, okay? Right? They don't want to be accountable for who they're choosing and picking. So we're not going to talk about the black side of things, even though I was raised around it. I'm going to talk more about the white side, because we already know that most of the time, there's more 65% of Caucasians in America than there are 13%. So we know that 13% of the population can't do more than what the 65% is. We just know that. Forget about the per capita and the racist who says, oh, black people commit more crime. Okay, forget that, because you know it's all staged and it's all set up. But when you have children, one thing I learned from white parents is that they do the right thing at first. They do the right thing at first. But the problem is that as I babysitted and got paid for my services rendered in the past, I realized that that the wives are already corrupted. The husbands are just too goddamn innocent. I'll see a white husband who's just completely blindsided by the fact I'm a black man taking care of his kids, okay, as a babysitter, even though he's paying me. I've actually talked to the husband, and I actually talked to the wives, because I'm one of those guys, right? So I'll be in their house, and then I see their kid, and they trust me, and I think that's a great thing, but I couldn't do it anymore because the females were flirtatious. Yes. And then I would literally tell the husband, I say, I can no longer serve you because your wife has done something bad, okay? You know what I'm saying? Wink, wink, okay? And so I just leave. And then it's like, don't leave. And I said, well, I can't be your therapist. I am bona fide I am a therapist in a way, because I actually talk to people, say, hey, what's the problem? And so we get a solution. But then I realized one thing. It starts before the relationship happens. It starts before the relationship happens. So this video, like I said before, is how to raise your daughters to not be whores. and how to raise your sons to know how to have standards, because that's what I saw. I saw that, and there's nothing I could do about it. So when I used to have my MySpace page up and running called The Big M Show, I would literally try to teach women to keep your legs closed because you fucked up yourself, and no man who's an alpha, a real alpha, is going to want you. And I tell the men to keep your pector in your pants and keep your money in your pocket, because the women are turning into prostitutes in modern day, 304s. Okay, so I'm going to make this very short and clear in under 10 minutes. Like I said, I'm trying to keep it down, all right? When you have daughters, you must understand that BET, because I was in black women's houses too, being the babysitter, you can't show them that shit, and you're not there supervising. You have to be there. I say, hey, you got to teach the daughters that what they're seeing is entertainment purposes, and they're not supposed to do that. All right? When you have the sons, it's not really a problem with the sons, but it's more with the daughters. The daughters like to go outside more, while the boys stay inside and they play games, because I'm a gamer. I play games. I was playing Super Nintendo. I was playing Atari. I was playing all those different games. And that's a good thing for the boys. And then when they get to a woman who basically has been corrupted with socializing, social networking, people who are on the social media accounts, any female who's usually have a social page and she got thousands of followers, millions of followers, I gotta look at that page, and what I see is glamorous stuff, it's narcissistic stuff, and then I'll say, hey, you're just showing off to the guys your body parts. And I'm like, yo, what the hell is she doing on there? She's trying to look for attention. She's trying to get paid, okay? Just like OnlyFans. Because that's a very lucrative business, because we've got a lot of fathers who weren't in the house. So when you have daughters, you literally got to keep them isolated from social media in a sense, right? You have to do this. If you do want to show them whatever's on the TV, right? You literally got to tell them what they should and should not be doing. And you have to teach them about discipline. You have to teach them about respect. And you have to teach them about being content of what you have. In no way, shape, or form should daughters be choosing their mates without the permission of their father. In no way, shape, or form should daughters be choosing their mates without their father's permission or an elder. I just see it that way. It is far more harder for a guy to find a girlfriend, especially if he's average looking and have a decent ass job, than for a woman who has no job at all and who's been around the block. It is so easy for her to pick up. Even women who are 4s and fucking 3s can get some dick. Okay, that I just know that's a fact. Okay, right? So when you have men who are 3 and 4, there's no chance he will ever meet a woman in his life. Okay, you hear me? So it's important that the fathers be in the house so you can guide the child. See, I teach my daughters about violence, murder, death, and kill, and psychology. So it's all of the above. She's going to know everything. She can't learn the other stuff until she gets like 16 or even 18, depending on how she reacts to the things that I like to watch and see. But since my daughters has been removed from my premises, I can't do anything. So it's important and detriment for nuclear families to stay together if the father is there. But the courts don't care about that. As you should already know who is in control of the courts. The courts focus on extortion. They do not focus on giving the kids to the father who has the bulk of the money. Okay, right? They don't care about that. They want to make sure they think that they want to equally, want to split it between the middle, but they shouldn't do that. There's something called virtual reality. You don't need to be around your mother to understand how she is. I believe in that philosophy, because if the mother don't have any money, okay, you can't take it all from the father, honey. You can't do that. And the courts do this to teach you guys the lessons. So when you talk to a single mother, oh, hell no. Oh, the children all go to the mother, and then all your money go to her too. It should be equal, and it shouldn't be equal, because the man is the logic of the house, the logic here, okay? They know that, but they want to teach you a lesson. They don't understand that the dark psychology is strong for the men. So they're going to teach you a lesson not to lay with any female. And as a matter of fact, you're on the grid. America is the grid, all right? So if you ever get caught up with CPS, I got caught up with CPS. It was one time. It only took one time for my daughters to go outside when I'm not home and they're of age, okay? Okay, I believe of age was 11 because they mature. Everybody matures differently. They could have obeyed me, but then they chose their mother in the end. But of course, the courts violated my rights, and they should have just did the right thing. And they felt it wasn't like the judge, the sheriff. Okay, it wasn't even the judge judging me. It was the officer. Okay, and he wasn't even a judge. And I said I wanted to see the judge, and I didn't get a chance to see the judge because they violated my rights. And I simply said, why do you think I'm in this court? Because I refused the family plan, because they already been in my house, and I told them everything. They know everything about me. So I didn't understand why they didn't just follow the law. No, they broke the law, and they knew they broke the law, and the CPS makes up lies. Okay? So, that is another story for another day, guys. But when you have children, I digress here, you literally, the father, you, as a man, have to isolate that child. You have to discipline that child, especially your daughters. Your daughters are harder to raise than sons. This is what I know by fact, anecdotally, from my own experiences. I watched hundreds of kids, and all the kids love to be around me. I bring the TV, and I bring educational programs, and I know how to do it with them kids, and they watch and they listen. But once the tutor and the teacher is removed, that's it. It's up to the parents' responsibility to do what's right, but they don't do what's right because there's no father, no structure. And I know I'm speaking the truth because I'm a Gen Xer, goddammit. You respect your elders, and these days millennials don't even respect their goddamn parents. All right, but anyway, I gotta get out of here, guys. I have to make some money now. My car needs repairs. But other than that, that's all I really want to say, because I'm not your average man. I'm not your Peter Pan. And now I'm having my children outside the country. I don't have to worry about doing anything like that no more. That's the next plan, guys. The next plan is to find virgin wives who are into polygyny, make sure they have their parents, and keep your wives outside of the United States, which is the whore of Babylon. Other than that, y'all have a nice day. And prayer don't work. Okay, prayer doesn't work. And you have any comments, questions, insults, or roast, you put it down below. Peace.